Well, Safe Nigeria Group was like an idea whose time came when Nigeria was going through the crisis of impunity occasioned by the illness of the former president Umaru Yar'Adua, who was ill. We sympathized with him, but as usual in Nigeria, some power mongers, now that we call cabal, now use the opportunity to hijack power. Because we talk about power vacuum, we say it was a power vacuum, it was a power hijack. Those who are not supposed to exercise presidential authorities were exercising it. And when that happened, there was indignation all over the country that people started to make press statements, press conferences, signing petitions and the rest. And it was on the 2nd of January 2010 that Pastor Tunde Bakare called myself and about 2 other people and said, look, this thing has been going on for weeks now, months, and what everybody is doing is just talking to the press and the rest. That if Gani were alive, if Beko were alive, would they not do more than go beyond this? There and then we agreed to call some leaders of civil society groups to meet at Sheraton Hotel on the 4th of January. 3 days after we met, and at the end of the meeting it was resolved that beyond the talk, we should walk, we should march, and we should go and march in Abuja. Oh, some people said, no, you can't go to Abuja to march. Nobody has marched in Abuja successfully, and if this is your first outing, if you go to Abuja and it's a flop, then that's the end of the group. The Pastor Bakare said, no, let's go. And we went. We had the first march on the 7th of January 2010. It was successful. We came back to Lagos. It was great. We went back to Abuja. It was a wow. And now it's our second march in Abuja. That was the day the National Assembly invoked the doctrine of necessity to resolve the crisis, and the Vice President now to become acting president. And when that struggle was over, we came together and said, look, we should not disband this group. We should keep it. And that this struggle has shown us that social mobility is not frozen in Nigeria. What is lacking is leadership. And that we should continue to galvanize our people to unblock their minds and mobilize them for social change. And that's how we came to be. Well, the very day we had the first meeting that in his Pastor Tunde Bakare's house, I think it was myself, Pastor Bakare, myself, and there was Pastor Sam Ayedogbon who was with us, and the 4th person was Dipo Famakinwa when we met in his house. But by the time we met at Sheraton Hotel, there were other people, leaders from Suicide Group like Biodun Shewumi, Femi Falan, and Dr. Joe Odumakin, Debo Adeniro, and quite a lot of people from the civil society groups, Dr. Tunde Bakare, and a host of others were there. Safe Nigeria Group is a political society organization, but it's not partisan. And when we said Pastor Bakare joined politics, yes, was invited. Up to that time, he was not interested in anything politics. It was General Board that invited him and made him to run with him as a vice president candidate. And initially, he was going to decline, he was not going to accept. The people said, look, well, if you are shouting that this is how to change the country and this opportunity comes, let's give it a shot. Perhaps you can leverage it if you become vice president of the country to bring about some of the things we are talking about. Out of course, one thing we ensured was that throughout the time the election campaign went on, Safe Nigeria Group was not involved in CPC activities, and the two of us did not run anything on Safe Nigeria Group throughout that time. Never in the history of this country have Nigerians gathered in that number on a spot for 5 days to press on an issue. On the first day, we had a good outing, good crowd. By the following day, the crowd had doubled. Day after, they doubled the second day. Third day, in fact, by the 5th day, we are also fearing a stampede. This was not a movement of area boys. We were not burning tires. We gathered Nigerians on a spot. Messages were being passed, and the whole world attention was beamed on Nigeria on that spot for 5 days. And that's why the regime was terrified. That if that movement had continued the following week, perhaps the regime would have collapsed. And that's why they had to agree with Labour that until they smash that movement, it would be difficult for them to call off the strike. When Labour said that they were talking about 65 naira or nothing, we expanded the scope of this struggle by saying, no, it's not about one price, it's about corruption. That what we are calling subsidy in Nigeria is the cost of corruption. we drew attention to corruption in Nigeria. And since that time, you can see that Nigerians have paid more attention to the issue of corruption in this country. That following that struggle, so the House probe exposed the whole gamut of corruption in the industry, and that up to date, the regime and its fronts, who are called subsidy thieves, are still trying to get out of that crisis. Even they are still pretending that they are still trying some people up to now, almost 1.5 years after. The agreement government had with Labour was that, okay, we'll go back to 1997 naira. By April, we'll go back to 140 naira. This is 1.5 years after they have not been able to do it because of the impact of that movement. And you could see the way all kind of things that sprang up, all kind of groups that came out of that. Enough is enough, young people and the rest who are organizing. And so when you saw when the pension thief was given a slap on the wrist, you saw the way the whole country came up, because we have opened the eyes of Nigerians to the issue of corruption, the corruption going in the industry, and Nigerians are not going to be governed the same old way again. Why is it that we don't have refineries working in Nigeria? That petroleum technology today is as cheap as iPad or iPod. Why is it rocket science in Nigeria? It's because of the regime of corruption that is feeding facts on the mystery of Nigerian people. People are making money, making billions. You can see them on television. Sometimes when they go to court, they are smiling as if they are coming out of City People Awards. Because labor leaders are part of that regime, they don't want it changed. A lot of them are making money from this thing. We confronted some of them. We told them, we know the number of vehicles that brought money when those negotiations were going on. And they've done it over the years. Right from Oshiomhole's time. Government and labor will meet. They will agree, okay, we want to put increased price of petrol to 15 naira. But let's go and announce 19 naira. You bring the people out, work them up for 2-3 days, then come out to the negotiation table, now say it's 15 naira. And then everybody go back, which was what they agreed to do, and then they collect their own from it. So, but that movement in Ojota made it much more difficult for them to sell out. And until they brought tanks to Ojota to smash that movement, they could not call up the strike. How many struggles have they sold after that time? Did they not say that they are going to fight over? Recently, they said they are going to call a strike over pension or whatever. Did they do it? Was ESNG calling for the regime change? It's what Yoruba people will call Oboripo Kotiromo. A dirty woman who normally does not take her bath now say that because her husband has died 2 months ago, that's why she has not been taking a bath. Before her husband died, was he taking a bath regularly?